what's up, Bootstrappers? It's Ryan Nickel coming at you with another coaching tip. All right, so I've been kind of laying low for a while now, and it's been good. It's been really good. I've been focusing more on coaching. I got some students now that actually got a lot of students, and it's taking a lot of my time. But I'm also working my business, but it's focused on a couple of other things. Here's one of them. And this insight, I was talking to another investor today, and she was just sharing with me what's going on and stuff like that, how she went ahead and she, what's up, Mark? She put an offer in, then she sat back, and she's like, doesn't need to buy the house. And the lady's like, no, that's too low, I don't want it. So she's like, okay, thanks. If anything ever changes, let me know. Well, guess what? 2 months go by, and guess who gets the phone call? Hey, is your offer still valid? And she's like, I don't know. The market's kind of softened a little bit. I need to come back and relook at my numbers. She's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, if you can still make that same number work, I'll go ahead and go with you. And that's just the power of being patient, and it's also the power of not needing a deal, not being completely needy that you have to go after everything. Like, I get it. When I first started, I was going after everything under the sun because I was desperate. I would chase everything so I could get a deal because I needed to make some money. And now that I'm in a more favorable position, I don't have to do that. And the crazy thing is I got this. There's a property in my market that it's been pitched to me like 4 different times by 4 different wholesalers, and I actually called on it myself when I thought that I was actually talking to the owner, and I wasn't. I was talking to some other dude, and finally one guy goes, hey man, you interested in this property? I got an appointment to go walk it. I'm like, whatever. A lot of people have told me about it. I might as well just go take a look. And so I go out there, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's a mess. What's up, Paul? This property, you could go either way. And so I got a buyer who's semi-interested in it, and so I have him go look at the property, and he's like, man, that property is like, it's like I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, I agree. It's just not a good property. And it's a commercial mixed-use property. So it has some residential component, and it has some other, it could be a restaurant, could be a church, could be a banquet hall, could be all kinds of crap. But anyway, those of you in my local market, you know what property I'm talking about. So he goes, man, I'm going to pass on this one. I'm like, totally cool, man. Me personally, I would pass as well. I got some ideas for it, but it's labor intensive. It's going to cause a lot of capital. Thought about converting it into affordable housing for like the VA or something like that, and you'd have to convert the livable spaces all upstairs. You'd have to get an elevator. You have to do all kinds of stuff to it, and it's just not cost effective. And so he's like, yeah, I'll pass on it. I'm like, he's like, but if there was a number, it'd be like 125, and this person's asking like 300 for it. They started at 350, now they're down to 300, and this goes back into being patient. And I was like, look, man, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit selfish here because this guy buys a lot of property from me. I wholesale a lot to him. And we've got a really good working relationship. I tell him exactly, he tells me what he wants, and I go and I shop for it. I go and I buy it. So that's, ideally, if you're wholesaling for somebody, that's exactly what you would want to do. You don't want to do this, go get a property under contract and then hope and pray, oh, please, let the real estate gods let this property come off, get an assignment fee. That's the hardest way to make some money in this business, is to go out there and get a property and then just, hey, what's up, Carrie? And just hope and pray that you got the numbers right and you got a buyer that's going to want to buy it. I go shopping for my buyers. I had a handful of buyers. I know what their bread and butter properties are, and they go in, they buy them fast. They don't have, what's up, Crystal? They don't complain about assignment fees. They'll pay whatever the fee is because it's their bread and butter, and they know they can turn it and they can make a profit and they can go well on it. What's going on, Rusty? And so I talked to this, I told him, I said, look, man, I'm going to be selfish here. I'm going to tell you not to buy this property, even if she comes down to the price. And he goes, well, why would you tell me that? And I said, because I don't want your time or your money tied up into this property so that I bring you 3 or 4 more of these other properties that I know you'd be able to turn real fast and turn your capital and my capital and allow for me to, make some money instead of a one-off deal that you're going to be trying to wrap your head around how you're going to fix this thing and go to the city and get all these permits and stuff like that. And so that's the power of being patient. is being completely patient, that you can pass on deals and realize, you know what, I don't have to go after this deal. Just because it's in front of me doesn't mean that I have to buy it. And I wish I would have known this earlier in my investing career, because like I said, I would go after everything because I was desperate. And there were some properties that I would tie my time up in and not get a dime on after months. In fact, I would put money into doing inspections and things like that, and I would get nothing back. I'd lose money on those deals. And it was because I wasn't patient. And even if I was going to pull that back even a deeper level, it's like, okay, what's the lesson here, Ryan? It's not just to be patient, it's to know what your criteria is, and then be patient and patiently and wait for that criteria. Because I guarantee, as you go out and you look for properties, you're going to find properties, and you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested to go and buy a certain property, or to engage, or go drive a property, go look at it, do whatever, and it's not going to fit inside your wheelhouse. And it's kind of like the old catch-22. Well, how do I know what's inside my wheelhouse or not? How do I know unless I go out and I try it and I find a buyer or whatnot? I tell you what, stick with bread and butter properties. Unless you have a buyer that tells you specifically otherwise. Like, I got a buyer that says, you know what, I like 2-1s. I'm like, 2-1s? Why do you like 2-1s? No one's buying 2-1s. He has a very specific strategy. I'm like, oh my gosh, how come I never saw that? It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I bring him 2-1s when it makes sense. He's not in my local market, so he's in another market that I'm in, so I bring him that. Let's read this right here. That's why you cut the cord on the most recent lead. Being patient. It was not helping with exactly. Even worse. Uncooperative, angry, distressed seller. I can tell you one thing, Carrie, that if you left them in a position, he's angry, that's fine. But if you left it as a professional, you took the higher road, like, hey man, I'm here to help you if you ever change your mind or things go, situations or circumstances change, I'm here. That you might get that seller back. You might not. It might go to auction and that's it. You know what? It's a tough lesson for the dude to learn, but good for you. And that's the power of being patient, man. Is realizing that. And I tell us just about anybody. It's like, you know what? I would like to buy your property, but I don't have to buy your property. But you have to sell it because the bank is going to take it if you don't. But again, if we can come to an agreement, I would love to help you out and buy your property, but I don't have to. And I leave it like that. And that's just my personality. Maybe that's a little bit too rough, too aggressive for some people. Maybe it's not aggressive enough. Maybe you step it up. But I let them know that, hey, you know what? I can take all day. And in fact, sometimes when I'm on the property with them, I know that they're in default, I'll jokingly say, I'm like, hey man, we can close this anytime you want. We can close this in 6 months, give you plenty of time. We can close it in 12 months if you want. And they're like, 12 months, this house will be sold at auction. I'm like, oh, that's right, I forgot. Yeah, we got to move a little bit quicker on there. So you tell me when. And I wanted to reinforce that. And I want to have them say that it's going to be sold instead of me pointing out the fact. I want it to come out of their mouth. That way, it means a whole lot more. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. And I don't want to sell someone on their own situation. I want them to sell me on the situation of why I should help them out. And again, it comes back to being patient. But even more than that, it comes back to knowing your criteria, what it is that you want, and why you're going after it. Right now, I've taken a break from the properties that I've been going after. I used to aggressively go after every pre-foreclosure. If it was a pre-foreclosure in my market, you bet your butt I was out there knocking on their door, leaving a flyer, doing something on that property. Without rhyme or reason, I was out there knocking on the door. It was a pre-foreclosure, I gotta go. Pre-foreclosure, I'm out the door. And I've since learned, as I've looked at my properties, my portfolio, I'm like, wow, you know what? The majority of my properties have come from pre-foreclosure. But the majority of my profits have come from very few of the pre-foreclosure deals. And so I've refined my targeting, so I can be extremely patient now because I know exactly what I'm looking for and what my plan is for the next several years to build my portfolio with less properties but making more profit. So that's the whole thing that I'm working on right now. That's why I've kind of taken a step back here. But I want to share this with you so you guys can be profitable. And as I'm driving, looking at these neighborhoods here, I'm looking for properties that are distressed. I'm addicted. I can't help myself. Some overgrown grass on this house. But again, it comes down to being patient. It's one of those things you just can't turn off. When you're driving around, I'm on my way to pick my daughter up from ballet. I'm taking a new route. It's a key for you as well. When you're driving places, take a different route, a different path to get to where you want to go. You'd be surprised what you might end up finding. In fact, I was driving back from a property that I went out and walked today, and I took a new road home, and I saw a property I'd never seen before. I'm like, snapped a picture of that, sent the postcard to the seller, and away I drove off. So that's it, guys. Just be patient, choose your criteria wisely, and you'll be able to be more profitable. If there's anyone that I know, oh, right, you're back. If there's anyone I know that's the epitome of patience, it has to be an investor that she's in this group. She comments on a lot of stuff, smart as hell. Her name is Alexis McGee. This woman is so patient. She knows her price, she knows her numbers, and she knows her property, and she goes after specifically what it is she's looking for. And if the price isn't there, she's not gonna pull the trigger. So many times, because she's right about a lot of stuff. She calls people, she tells it what it is. She's been in this business for so long, she just tells these people straight up, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how I can help you. It's your choice. You can either let this happen to you, or I can help you out with this option here. She'll sit back and patiently wait, follow up, just patiently follow up, and she'll end up getting the deal because they'll come back because no other options are working. Everything that she's laid out for them is coming to pass, and they realize they're going to lose their property. And so she gets her price. Sometimes she even gets it for a little bit better. But she does so few deals a year. Like, I used to hustle. I used to think, like, it was a badge of honor that I was doing, 3 or 4 deals a month. And I was like, yeah. I started from 0, then I went to like 1 every couple of months, and I went to like 1 every month, and then I went to like 2 every month, and then I was fluctuating between 2 and 3, and then I was like, 3, then 4, and I was like, I was working my butt off. I was like, a deal a week is what I was taking down, and I talked to her. She's like, oh yeah, I did 2 deals last year. I'm like, 2 deals? No, I didn't even say it like that, but I was like, 2 deals. I'm like, how do you survive off 2 deals? She's like, well, one made me $500,000. The other one's probably going to make me about $750,000. And I'm like, wow. I mean, she's doing a lot more than that. And, but it comes down to patience, man. It's all about patience. And so for me, I'm going after fewer deals with higher profit margins, still doing the skinny deals. It's still skinny, but I'm going after specific deals that have a higher rate of return when I cash flow those things monthly. So whatever it is, figure out what your criteria is, and then just be patient and work towards it. But I got to say this with caution. Don't get so narrow that your marketplace might have one deal that fits that criteria. Make sure that it's a profitable niche to be in. Oh, and you're back. So make sure that your niche is there's enough of it. So you got to do your market research. It all comes back down to market research. Where are you at? Make sure that there's a wide enough market for what you're looking to do, and then niche down into that market. So be a subset of that market. Like, for example, pre-foreclosures. A lot of guys go after all the equity in the pre-foreclosures. I go after the skinny marginal deals. And now even then I'm getting more and more selective on those skinny marginal deals because, well, one, I don't have to, do a deal every single month anymore. I'm still doing a deal once a month. Great. And I'm actually okay just doing once a month. Oh, you're back. So it's crazy to think that one deal that I'm doing right now makes up for the 2 or 3 that I would have done in a month. The margins on the one type of deal that I'm going after are tremendous. Now, there's not as many, or it's harder to find these deals. It takes a lot of research, a lot of front end work. But once you get them, man, they pay handsomely, and I'm able to drive in circles. Do less and make more. Imagine that philosophy. So anyway, I'm Ryan Nickel. I'm probably going to lose you all one more time, and I don't want to wait for this thing to come back on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short. Just remember, you're one